Okay then guys, just I thought I'd run you through a little intro for this exam paper. This is the January 2011 C2 Core Maths EdExcel exam paper. It's 1 hour 30 long, and basically just a little intro here for the questions that we're going to do in this paper, just to simulate what you do in an examination at the outset of the exam. Of course, at the beginning of the exam, before it starts, you fill in all this information here. You send a center number, candidate number, your signature and your name and such like things. So you fill in that detail there, and then we can have a quick look at the instructions then, so we're familiar with what these say. We can use any calculator, but it can't have anything stored on it, like algebra manipulation. We need a calculator that's not going to do that, differentiation or integration, or have any formulas stored in them. So it's important to clear any memory. If there's any memory on the calculators, these should ordinarily be cleared out. Complete the table above, which we mentioned about at the outset. Answer all the questions. You must write your answer to each question in the space following the question. So we can't just put it somewhere else. When a calculator is used, the answer should be given to an appropriate degree of accuracy. Booklet, so we've got our booklet we should have there. We've got our calculator. Full marks may be obtained for answers to all questions. The marks for individual questions and the parts of questions are shown in round brackets, usually on the right hand side. 10 questions in this paper. Total marks are 75. There are 28 pages in this question paper. Any blank pages are indicated. Okay, so that's fairly clear, isn't it? So you must ensure that your answers to parts of questions are clearly labelled. You should show sufficient working to make your methods clear to the examiner. Answers without working may not gain full credit, so we do need to show our workings when we're going through this stuff. So let's have a look at the paper itself then, shall we? So here's the first question then. So let's have a look through, because in an examination we can just quickly flick through the paper to decide which questions we'd like to start with. Here's on the remainder theorem here. And very straightforward, nice, easy, user-friendly question, so definitely a contender to start off. When you've done a question, it's worth putting a tick alongside the question so you can keep track of your progress. And also at the end of an examination, if you finish all the questions, then the best thing to do is to double tick. So again, put a double tick, another tick by the question to show that not only have you tried it, but it's also been double checked. So okay, this is a nice user-friendly question here, using the remainder theorem, so no problem at all there, and very easy to do. So plenty of paper to work through, and abundance of paper to put our answer there. So let's go to the next one then. This is triangles. Probably the cosine rule, because you've got 3 sides, 3 working in radians, and area. Again, very user-friendly, easy question. Another 6 marks there should be easily obtainable. So there's plenty of room to do the workings there. Then we flick forward to the third question. GPs. Again, this is nice. Easy peasy stuff. Sum to infinity, first term common ratio. And we know 2 terms in the GP. So we could rattle that one off nice and easily. So next question then. So the first 3 are definitely user friendly. No awkward little problems that seem to appear there, mentioned there. So here's a graph of a quadratic, it looks like, with a region shown. Here's the quadratic, x coordinates of a and b, elementary stuff, and the region of the area. Again, it's very elementary, so that's great. So that could be done very easily. So the next one, number 5, which takes us to halfway through the paper. 40C4, very easy to work out what b is. B is 36. Write that down. Binomial expansion, so use the binomial theorem, and coefficients of particular terms. So that's extremely straightforward to do and user friendly. So the first 5 questions are great in this paper. There's no particular reason to do them in any order other than the order in which they appear, really. Number 6, input and output problems, getting values and using the trapezium rule. Nice and easy question again. And here you've got to work out an area, S, take off a triangle's area from this area here, which you've already obtained from the previous section. So that's, again, it looks harder than it is. A nice easy question. 7, let's move down to that then. Again, we won't need as many pages as been given to us. Here's the next question then. Trig, lovely question, Trig. Nice and easy quadratic here. When you remove, well, you simplify the equation to be a quadratic. So that's already done. So when you double check your work, you don't need to double check this part. So part A can be double ticked, can't it? Because it's already, the answer's already outlined in the question itself. So when you've done this question, that can be double ticked. It doesn't need to be double checked. And here you find the solution to this equation. So again, nice and easy question. Shouldn't take too long to do. So this paper looks like a relative breeze at the moment. Doesn't look like there's any surprises in it whatsoever. Graph of 7 to the x, again that's straightforward. Solving this equation, if you recognize using properties of indices that this is a quadratic in 7 to the x, it's fairly easy to factorize and solve using logarithms. So that's great. So it shouldn't take long to do this question paper, should it really? Let's go to the next one. This is question 9 now, coming to the end of the questions. Coordinates A and B, diameter of a circle, so the center is the midpoint, that's easy. Equation for the circle, once you've got the center you can work out the radius from the distance from the center to the one of these points here or here. And you know the radius and the center, you can write down the equation. Putting these inputs into the equation, and then tangent, again very standard question for circles. And so let's move on to the last question then and see if there's any hiccups here. So we've had a quick look at the paper then, and it seems very good, very user friendly. Volume box is given by that. Hence find the maximum volume of the box. Find the VDX. Use calculus. So that's fine, we can work out that. Very straightforward and easy to do. Just differentiation, max and mins, isn't it, here. So the paper, that's the 10th question then. That would be the last question. It looks fairly user-friendly, with no problems at all really. So there's no real pressing need to do it in any order other than what appears in the examination paper really. Just run through it sequentially is probably what I would be inclined to want to do. But what I would say is, because you've got 90 minutes, suppose you finish early, then the best thing is not to disappear out of the examination, because it's precious 90 minutes. You've worked hard for a long time for this exam, so it's well worth taking advantage of every possible minute and second in the exam and put it to good use. So once you've answered all the questions, then double check them. Only double check the ones you need to double check, of course. And then once you've double checked them, of course, you can then triple check to make sure you eke out every last possible mark that you can obtain. So all the best then, guys, if you've got a C2 examination coming in the near future, and I'll catch you again in another revision section, hopefully. Cheers!